all over the internet with their true crime channel. You hear that? Their true crime channel. You couldn't investigate the gate of an investor's house. You are like those dumbass puppies, you know? The ones that run around with their tongue hanging out of their mouth cross-eyed. You know, the government is watching this right now, and they're probably scared. And y'all's conspiracy theories. It needs people who, you know, aren't stupid. Because misleading information is what is letting these people get away. And the fact of the matter is, GoFundMe is a fucked up business to individuals who use it like fucked up people. Of course, GoFundMe is used for good reasons. You know, somebody in the neighborhood, their house burns down and they can't afford it and they need a little bit of help getting back on their feet. Whatever, that's fine. But do you realize that you can be a millionaire on GoFundMe by catfishing people with internet deaths? And also, sometimes when you question something and there is no answer, the answer is there's no answer. There is a line. And if you cross it, I'm illegally allowed to fuck your entire life up. And you're about to see a video of a page that's owned by a woman, and I'm about to legally fuck her entire life up. And she is gonna be a prime example on this channel on if you cross this line, I will legally fuck your life up. Dude. Y'all some sick motherfuckers. Anybody following Ickmel after today will know where all the weirdos are. Kylie Rodney is not Kylie Rodney. Kylie Rodney is Kylie Ross. Kylie Ross's dad is fake Kylie Rodney's grandpa. So if you look at the evidence that's been put out, there was a picture that came out where it's the girls in the car leaned back and there's a supposedly Kylie Rodney like with them or whatever. That's the picture everybody's saying, yo, that girl looks dead. So if you go back and look at the actual first B-reel post and you take it and you turn the contrast down and turn the sharpness up, you can see the name of the profile. If you take that username that is on B-reel and apply it to TikTok, you see how they're wasting everybody's time? TikTok, TikTok. If you put that name into TikTok, look at the profile that comes up.
He lied. He ate my hunt, but he did it out of spite. He got a wife, but she ain't the one he liked.
So if you look at Kylie, K-I-E-L-Y, and look at her situation and who's around her, look at the grandpa. Because the grandpa on Kylie, K-I-E-L-Y's page is the dad on C-A-L-L-I-E's page. Oh no, you mean to tell me Kylie with a C and Kylie with a K have the same dad, grandpa? And by the way, don't waste your time being like, well, they don't look the same. That guy looks a little older than the other guy. Yeah, that's the point.
They did that on purpose.
C's profile, I bet we can. This is the panel I was on last night. When this lady left, I said, she's suspect. Here is that same exact lady, younger, on the Kylie with the C Girls page that looks exactly like and has the same grandpa dad as Kylie with the K. You think that's crazy? You should see all the other people on my list that everyone's been looking at the whole time.
All right.
You're about to see on YouTube in 10 minutes. I found everybody.
Did you really?
Mm-hmm.
So do you think you've solved the case?
I solved at least half of it. What information I have, when I put it out, if it's not known, and it will be known then, everything's gonna fucking go nuts.
Now, are you tying up loose ends?
I'm showing you exactly where everything goes.
He's gonna burn it down.
The pictures that are being used are old. They're old pictures of the same person who's involved in the case right now.
Why do you think that this would be happening?
Because it's an easy way to make a fuck ton of money. And the RAM sticker, all this is being done on the computer, right? What's RAM? What does RAM stand for in computers? Random access memory. If you give a bunch of random facts that are accessible, your memory's fucked up. Random access memory. show me real proof of Kylie Rodney existing. I mean, if you want to sit in the comments and make Alex Jones jokes, I mean, go for it. You're welcome to do what you want in the comments. But here we're talking about facts.
This should have like code words. Okay, well, the dude who's like, hey, Ryan, I don't know anything about this missing kid. Okay, look at his name. Look how it's spelled. All right, his YouTube name is spelled Ickedmel. Ickmel. If you unscramble it, it says that's only using the letters that are there. And it also says licked me. Why is his name unscrambled? Say, sell me kid, licked me. Like sell me kid. If you sound it out, it says sell me kid. Why? Why does it say licked me? If you look for children and your page is dedicated to looking for children and covering missing children, why? This is fucking weird. Man, explain this.
Is that where you're going with that? Because I've gone to that one.
Guess where this leads to?
What?
Which I also have proof to.
What?
I have proof or evidence that this leads to Gabby Petito.
What do you know? Kylie with the C and Kylie with the K are the same Kylies. They even have the same dad grandpa, remember? Well, darn, let's go on Kylie with the C's page and see if she has a picture with the actual CRV, since Kylie with the K doesn't have an actual picture with the CRV. The best investigator in the world. We will retire from investigating to just watch you investigate, like I told y'all yesterday. I mean, right here.
That's
what
interesting.
You have to realize, look, man, listen, I'm not trying to be a dick.
No, I know you're not.
I can go over here, and I can pull out a bunch of ISIS memorabilia and brass stars and stuff and bronze stars.
Right.
You know why? Because I have been being taught and trained by special ops military for the past 7 years. What is up, true crime community? We meet again. I'm gonna be real, I don't know how the fuck y'all do this all the time. My brain hurts. But you're about to see some shit that no one has seen yet, because this shit just happened last night. And it's very suspect, and it's very weird. And don't think you've already seen this, you haven't. I'm the only one who has this. So as some of y'all know, I've been following the Kylie Rodney case really fucking close. And yesterday, I made a video called Red Flag Ronnie that is blowing the fuck up. It's got 106,000 views and it's been out for 13 hours. Since that video came out 13 hours ago, I've been on panels. I had Fox call me yesterday. So it's bringing a lot of attention. And with the attention, you have the people who are, possibly involved with this also watching. And I even mentioned that the other day. So last night, I went live on YouTube. And I started talking about the Ronnie guy. And I started to get into why I think this Ronnie guy is a red herring or a fucking made-up character.
And I feel like Ronnie is pretending to be the cousins.
Well, then my YouTube froze, and I was like, fuck it, I went over to Twitch. Thank God I went over to Twitch, because Twitch makes certain notes when someone is watching your stuff about that person who's watching your stuff. And when I say notes, it tells like how long they've been following you, how many times they've commented on your stuff, how many times they commented on a bunch of stuff. So I went from YouTube to Twitch. I told everybody, hey, I'm going over here to talk about the same thing. We're going to get into this Ronnie guy. Well, long story short on this part, this name comes in the chat. And everyone that was in Twitch last night seen it. This guy come in chat named Sweaty Pies in pink letters. As we're sitting there talking about stuff, he's like, you gotta call me. Call me. Message me, call me. And I was like, what the fuck? One of the comments was, I'm a local. Call me. Like a local to Truckee. So I tell the dude in chat, I'm like, you send me your Instagram, bro. So he ended up sending his Instagram to my moderator, Omnius and Trevor. They texted me the Instagram, so I looked the dude's Instagram up. And I clicked message. He already messaged me earlier that day about a story about Red Flag Ronnie. Okay, so the other day when we were talking about Red Flag Ronnie, I thought to myself, he might be a red herring, a false, oh, look over here. So I said false information about Red Flag Ronnie. And the reason I did that is because if Red Flag Ronnie is some bullshit made up thing, because if someone did create Red Flag Ronnie, and if you're trying to say, hey, Red Flag Ronnie isn't real, then they don't have their shield anymore. So they'll be like, oh no, yes he is. And then there'll be some out of place person talking about Red Flag Ronnie. So look at this message this mystery guy sent to me.
Bro, I have Instagram. He didn't delete it. Bro, I'm on your Twitch right now. Hey Ronnie, what's up?
He's trying to tell me, no, his Instagram's not deleted. I have it. I know I have it. He's also following Red Flag Ronnie, by the way.
Miro.
At this point, I was like, I looked at Trevor and I was like, why? What the fuck, who is this?
This is so sad, man.
Fuck, I'm bad, dude. I'm gonna grab me a Yoo-hoo and shit, bro, if I can log off this shit. I'll be back up here in like 3 minutes. I need something to drink, and I'll call you or whatever. Just tell me a number, I guess. Alright, bro, for sure. Go do your thing. I'll send you my number. Just, you know, we can talk about it or whatever. I wasn't at the party, but this Ronnie guy, he don't add up, bro. Now, obviously, I can't show the phone number. The police might need it to help find this little girl, so I'm not putting that on here. But I'm still going to show you everything. I just can't show you the phone number. So yesterday, Red Flag Ronnie's Facebook got deleted. It's gone. Before it got deleted, my buddy screenshotted the page. This was Red Flag Ronnie's profile picture. I was like, oh shit, a tag plate. So I had my team member Blu-ray run the tag plate.
For the record, that Facebook page was never deleted. He blocked Ryan, so Ryan couldn't see it anymore because he blocked him, because Ryan had Crack Squad coming in there saying all kind of vulgar stuff, accusing the guy of doing stuff to kids. So why, you know, who would block somebody like that? Oh my God. Right?
Look what happens when you look up this tag plate.
Oh, Jesus God, man. I forgot how bad this was. It was bad. He was really tripping. This is one of the times he was up for like 3 days.
Wow, he's trying to sell it.
Oh my God, he's trying to sell his car. Oh no, that's a clue. Someone's trying to sell their car.
Bro, how do you run a tag to a car and it goes to nobody and it's been sold like 200 times from like 200 dealerships? All right, so now let's go back to mystery guy who's like, hey, call me. So then I told my buddy, I was like, hey, run this dude's phone number and see what name's attached to it and the address. So he did. So you remember the other day how I said, listen, this Ronnie dude does not sound like he has kids. Does not sound like an adult, really. He don't sound like a...
For some of you that weren't there, Ryan was just absolutely out of his mind on, you know, some say Adderall, I say meth, probably both. And everybody he ran into on the internet was a suspect. I didn't give a shit who it was. If he exchanged 2 words with them, they became a suspect.
30-year-old. And if you ask me, he don't sound black. He sounds white. Remember that, because it's really significant in a minute. So the number he gave...
Yeah, black guy would never be named Ronnie Jones. No way.
Me, my buddy ran the number. I got the name back. Under one website, the name...
Well, maybe if his name was Tim Smith...
on that phone are Olga and Danielle. On a different website, the names on the phone are
Now, this is Ryan so focused on stuff. he can't see the forest for the trees. When you don't pay for if you got a pay to play cell phone and you go a month without paying to play, the number gets taken back. And then the next person that registers a phone gets that number. It's not unusual to see a cell phone number in multiple different people's name over a couple years time. Especially, if you're talking,
Sarah
pay by the minute.
Okay? Now think about this. I have a mystery guy who just started following my Twitch tonight.
Some dude on Twitch sent him a message because, who would send Ryan Upchurch a message, for God's sakes? That's really strange, huh? And now he's a suspect, and he looked up his phone number because other people had it.
And said his name was Miro.
Messaging me, trying to convince me Ronnie is real. His phone is in 3 females' names. I got the address back.
Ronnie was very real, and that guy was his friend, and he was trying to tell Ryan, I know this dude, man. He's real. And, that for some of you that weren't there, Ryan conflated. Ronnie Jones showed up on Iked Mel's podcast and was saying, my 2 cousins, I grew up in that area. I partied there when I was a teenager. And it's been a party place for high school kids ever since before I was even a teenager. And this guy's like in his 30s, I think. And he's trying to tell Ryan it's not unusual for there to be a party out there. There's a party out there every weekend. Yes, people have drugs out there. I am not proud of it. I sold drugs there when I was a teen. And my 2 cousins were there. And they saw Kylie a couple of times throughout the night. And she appeared to be intoxicated. That was the crux of what that man said from beginning to end. And Ryan made up this whole thing in between that was never said. Ryan put this whole story in his mouth that never took place, claiming that his 2 cousins were with Kylie all night long and all this shit. And that is not what he said. He said that when they first got there, they said about 2 days after the party, when her face showed up on a flyer saying she was missing, his 2 cousins recalled seeing her at the party. And after talking, they realized, yes, we saw her a couple of times. And the second time we saw her, she appeared to be intoxicated. That's all the guy said. That's it. That's all he said. And Ryan made up this whole big story, put all these words in his mouth that were never said. And this guy had to practically go into hiding because Crack Squad then was about, 5,000 strong instead of about 1,000 strong. And they were just attacking him all over the place. So
it's got to be Ronnie.
The address was in Sacramento. Is it that the area on Fox where the map says last seen 1 a.m.?
Oh my God. Didn't he tell you that's where he was from? Didn't he tell you I know Ronnie Jones? We went to school together. So wouldn't he also be in Sacramento? God. Ryan thinks everyone that was in the state of California the night of that party is likely a suspect in no crime that ever happened. There never was a crime. No one was ever kidnapped. No one was ever trafficked. No laws were ever broken. But everybody that went anywhere near a state park that was open to the public that sees 2,000 to 3,000 visitors every single day, everyone that went there was a suspect. Everyone in the state of California was a suspect. And anybody he ran into on a podcast and exchanged at least one word with was a suspect, while Mr. Burkhart was over there taking notes like all this shit was real when he knew goddamn well it was nothing but nonsense. They all did. But they didn't care about these real people because Upchurch. So we can ruin these real people's lives, completely disrupt everything they got going because Upchurch. I just don't want people to forget how we got where we're at today. I'm tired of it being minimized. I'm tired of it being fucking minimized by Tubby Butt, and not so funny. I can't afford a urn from my dad.
So the address linked to the mystery guy's phone who wants to talk to me. When you look up the address and you go to Street View, this is what you see. Scroll into it. Click Street View. Right in front of his house. You see this dude sitting outside.
Now, I mean, this is the degree to which he was doxing all these people. He did this to Zanmay. He did it to Zanmay's mom. He did it to Zanmay's thrift shop. He did it to the Rodneys. He did it to the Rodneys' relatives. He did it to Kylie Ross. He did it to Kylie Ross's dad. He did it to Kylie Ross's classmates. He did it to Kylie Rodney's classmates. He did it to Ickadmail. He did it to every single buddy. He doxed them, showing pictures of their house, Google Maps, their telephone numbers, their email. It was out of control.
I took a picture because of the shoes. I was like, damn, that's kind of crazy. That guy's wearing pretty much the same shoe as the Ronnie guy. All over the internet.
It was the only problem. The only problem is that particular Google Street View he was looking at was taken in 2013. That's the picture was taken by Google in 2013. It was just shy of 10 years old at the time. A 10-year-old photo, which would have made Ronnie Jones a middle schooler. That's how dumb. How did you like seeing him comparing a 58-year-old black woman to a 16-year-old high school girl claiming they're the same person? Or how about like one guy that's in his 70s and one guy that's in his 40s? They're the same person. Now, lard ass. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Okay. I'm not going to let you do the same thing Gotcha Man done and try to reduce your bullshit down to the fact that, oh, you're just mad because I'm friends with Upchurch. You sound like Wade Deaver with that shit. I don't give a fuck if you're friends with Ryan. You know, I mean, it just goes to show just how desperate of a weasel you are that you'll just take any kind of slander from him. He'll dish out with no ever public apology, no walking it back, and you'll just forget about it and just keep kissing his ass. That's on you, dude. I don't care. If you want to degrade yourself to that degree to be friends with somebody that's got a little money, go for it. Go for it. Watch how it ends for you. But that is not the issue I have with you. And I'm not going to let you pretend that that's the case. The issue I have with you is you called me well over 100 times. Well over 100 times. I stopped what I was doing and let you vent. When Ryan said that shit about you, it hurt you. You were fucking crying. You were upset. All of Crack Squad was up your ass, making videos about you, slandering you too. Just because Ryan did, suddenly now they were all slandering you too. And it made you feel horrible. And you called and you called and you called and you vented and you called and you called and you called and you vented and you called and you called and you vented. And now you want to tell me some messed up story that you and Ryan are cool now and you work things out, but where's the video of him saying, hey, all that shit I said about Cashville when I was mad, that wasn't true. He didn't steal my recording equipment. He wasn't on dope and he did help me out. That video's never happened. Don't act like church somehow made amends with you. You just decided to chew it and kiss his ass again. Like I said, I don't care. You want to degrade yourself like that and make yourself look that cheap? That's on you. But to sit there and watch you do the same motherfucking thing to Adam Calhoun, knowing how bad it made you feel when Ryan did it to you, for you to just fucking turn around and go right along with Ryan doing it to someone else makes you a fucking massive piece of shit. Every fucking word you said to me was nonsense. How many fucking times did you call me saying what Ryan said about the Rodney family? That's terrible, man. He's got no business saying something like that. That's awful. What changed? Is that still the same? And I'm tired of you acting like, oh man, move on, dude. He just made a video saying the same goddamn thing about the Rodneys 2 days ago. Period, dude. And it's about somebody with his influence using that influence to bully people, to slander people, to hurt people, use it as a fucking weapon. And now you're all down with it and doing it too. That's what makes you a piece of shit. There ain't a single one of you turds. And I'll challenge you right now, all of you turds, even you, Upchurch, the fucking bully, psycho nut job. Show me evidence of Adam Calhoun doing anything other than giving Ryan Upchurch praise. I want to see it. Because I followed his channel right along with Ryan's. And I've never seen him say a negative word about Ryan. Every time he's ever spoke about his career, he gave Ryan credit. And what the fuck did he get for it? Little bitch boy making up a fucking fake story about diss tracks that don't exist. Just to gin up some drama around his channel. Hopefully somebody then will realize he's putting out a new song or realizing he's doing a gig somewhere. Because that's his only connection to his fans, and nobody's watching anymore. Nobody's watching his channel. So to get people to look him up and look at his channel and find out about his new song or find out about where he's playing, he just fucking rapes people's character from his YouTube channel. And now you're doing it. Which means every goddamn thing you said to me was a load of horse shit. Wasting my fucking time. You called Zanime about 100 times too. Telling her the same thing. Oh, it's just terrible what he's doing. Must not be terrible anymore, huh? You're just cool with it. But hey, Ryan, come on. All that shit you did to me that was so terrible and hurt my feelings, made me cry, made me feel bad. Let's go do that to someone else. Me and you. Piece of shit. Stay away from me. Keep my fucking name out of your mouth. Forget you ever fucking knew me. I want nothing to do with somebody as fucking slimy as you. And that goes for you too, fucking gotcha cuck. You are exactly the same. You did the exact same thing. All just shit your character out all over the fucking ground and flush your integrity with it just to be friends with somebody with a little money. Sorry, dude. I wouldn't want the money if you gave it to me. And when the Rodney case starts, that lawsuit starts, my wife and I are taking our vacation. We're going to be in that courtroom and we're going to film it live and we're going to post the videos every day. That bully is going to be taken down a notch or two. If it's the last thing I do before I leave this goddamn earth. And if you want to ride along with him, we'll just take you down with him. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. So when you lay your fat ass down tonight, you just remember how you felt when Ryan looked into his camera and told all his fucking fans that you were nothing but a thief and a doper that didn't do anything for him. And then you'll know how you made Adam feel. You sat there and let me defend your fat ass when nobody was defending you. You fucking used me, motherfucker. That's the issue. You want to be friends with a dirtbag like Upchurch? I don't care. I wouldn't be caught dead with that son of a bitch. Or anybody he's associated with. They're all trash. His best friend's going to prison for murder. His other friends uses him for money. His camera guy and supposed man, you're banging his mom and telling him lies about money that was never embezzled. There's not a single person associated with him I'd be caught dead with. They're all garbage. You want to be involved in that? Go for it. And quit telling me about his big tour at fucking bars I took cover bands to. That's not a tour. I don't know what the fuck you call it. That bar he played out in Canton won't even goddamn hold 300 people. The hell you talking about? It's tour. Tour my ass. And they ain't all there to see just Upchurch. And I think it is funny. Fun, you know, if Upchurch made a video tomorrow saying Trump was a piece of shit, the same 6 cult followers would make a video saying Trump's not worth a shit. That's how lame you guys are. Every one of you making videos about Adam. Every single one of you. Yet none of you had a problem with him until Ryan opened his mouth and made up a lie about diss tracks. It's a lie. He made it up. If there were diss tracks, you would have already seen them and heard them. It's funny how you guys think Adam has no fans of his own. Nobody would dare go see Adam. Well, you know, it's awful funny. All these fucking people that were featured by Upchurch, where are they? Where are they? If that's all it takes is to get a feature from Upchurch and you suddenly have this 10-year career, where are all the other people? Seems to me Adam took the little bit of shit he did with Ryan and turned it into a 10-year long career that was very successful. And you don't do that unless you actually have talent. The shit he did with Tom McDonald blows away what he did with Upchurch. In sales, the only thing that's beating it is Die Tonight video on YouTube because of how long it's been there. The record sales didn't outsell it. That first album he did with Tom McDonald went platinum. It went fucking platinum. And that was just a year ago. Not even quite a year. What are you talking about? Adam ain't done nothing since he was with Upchurch. You people are insufferable idiots. I mean, insufferable idiots. And just so my supporters know, you can't tell a bunch of lies as a witness and sign it as a witness and at work in court. That shit's over with, done, flushed down the toilet, never to be spoken about again. So your Friday is going to be boring. Yeah, look at you, you piece of shit. You're too slimy to be near me or be seen with me or be around me or be associated with me. Dump his ass out of here, one of you guys with a wrench. I don't even want to look at that fat bastard. He does not deserve to be in the same oxygen I'm in after lying to me for an entire fucking year. An entire year. You guys want to see how many times he called me? Let's just take a look. You guys will be blown away because it's astronomical amount. I mean, it's an unusually high amount. All upset because Ryan slandered him. And then what's he do? Turn around and do the same goddamn thing to Adam. Talking about him and Ryan made amends. No. Making amends, Cashville, would be Ryan looking into his camera and saying, hey, all that shit I said about my friend Johnny Cashville, my first manager, all that nasty shit I said about him wasn't true. I was just mad. Where's that fucking video? We'll never see it. And you ain't going to tell me he apologized to you because he wouldn't apologize to his own goddamn mother, accusing her of stealing $25 million. And she's driving a used car, living in a fucking one-bedroom apartment. She never left Ghost Ranch to go anywhere on her own. She was too busy taking care of his shit. He dumped all his responsibility off on her. All of it. That's why it's such a shit show now. Right there, he called me. This is just the other day. Trying to call me. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 unanswered. Now let's go back a year. And I can just like flip this and stop it and he'll be there. I mean, he called me sometimes 3 times a day. That's what pisses me off. All that shit that came out of your mouth. Oh, it's so wrong, man. It's so terrible what he's doing, man. Oh, man, that poor family, that Rodney. Oh, man. That's just terrible what he's doing. Oh, my God, he fully doxed Anna and her mom. Oh, that's just terrible, man. But what the hell was all that? I can't wait. I absolutely cannot wait. So here's one this is about 8 weeks ago, 2 of them. I don't know if that goddamn camera will ever focus on that or not. Maybe I'll just have to screen cap them or do a screen grab on them. Yeah, it ain't going to focus on it. But dude, I can go back a year and you know how you like hit your thing and you just let it scroll and I can just stop it and there'll be a couple calls there from him. And then I can do it again and stop it. I'll make a video so you can see. That's why I got an issue with you, dude. That's why. You don't fucking use people. You don't use people, dude. And I was told that that's what you do. And I was like, oh, no, man, he seems like a good guy to me, man. He wouldn't do that. And that's exactly what you did. Exactly what you did. I hope Adam Calhoun, here's the difference between you plebs and Calhoun. I'm pretty sure he's got bail money. So sometimes there's certain times in life where we're going to jail for something for like 30 days or 90 days is worth it. It's just worth it. I mean, unbelievable. What else was I going to talk about? I had a lot of stuff on my mind today. Anyway, the Florida prosecutor is going forward with charges on Uncle Will. What else? And something else I want to talk about too. I'll think of it here in a minute. But anyway, that's the crazy shit right there, Cashville, that you're just going, that's not a problem, man. I'm down with it. I'm down with it. Look at the list of fucking people he has fucking slandered from that channel in the last 2 years. And I would say out of all of them on there, there's only one that maybe deserved just a smidgen. Just a fucking smidgen. And that would maybe be Nicole Arbor. She probably deserved a little bit. Nobody else, they didn't deserve that. They didn't deserve that. Not at all. Not at all. What did Chase Matthew do for Ryan to try to destroy his career and then guilt associate him with somebody that did the R word? What did he do? Nothing. Ryan, high on dope, paranoid, misinterpreting a third-party quote in a rag publication that maybe 200 people saw. And you ain't going to tell me he's not a good kid. You ain't going to tell me he deserved any of that. The same way you didn't deserve for Ryan to turn on his camera and tell all his fans you're a piece of shit. And the only thing I can imagine why you're willing to just like let it slide is because it's true. If you're telling me that what Ryan said about you isn't true, that Ryan's a liar, because see, you only got two options, Cashville. Okay. You either agree that what Ryan said about you is true, or you have to admit that Ryan is a liar. There is no other option for you. You've painted yourself into a corner. So when Ryan said you stole all the recording equipment, that you were on drugs and just all about the drug world, that nobody in Nashville messed with you, everybody in the game hated you, and that you never done anything for him. Is that true? Or is Ryan just a liar? Well, the fact that you're not willing to defend yourself against it, it must be true. And you've apologized to Ryan. Hey, Ryan, I'm sorry I stole all your equipment. I'm sorry I told people I helped you out and I didn't do nothing for you. Is that what's going on here? Because we know Ryan doesn't ever apologize to anybody. Right? So you go around there buzzing around with your head up high all around the interwebs with people knowing that Ryan Upchurch said you stole all his studio equipment. You're a piece of shit that was on drugs. Nobody in Nashville would ever mess with you, and you didn't do a damn thing for him. And you aren't even willing to even try to defend yourself over it. You used me to do it. You fucking used me to do it. And then like a weasel, you sign a fucking agreement that you're never going to defend yourself. And so Ryan could flip on his camera tomorrow and say your wife's a fat pig and your kids belong to some other man. And guess what? You wouldn't even be able to say nothing. You'd have to rely on a guy like me to say, oh, that's not true. You can't even say it's not true yourself. But yet, oh, me and Ryan's cool, man. We friends. No, you're just willing to be slandered, smeared, and disrespected to be around him. You're willing to, you're like some dumb little prostitute who just has to put up with her pimp beating her and using her and treating her like shit because That's the only place she can get a roof over her head. Well, that's you, man. You have to take whatever Ryan dishes out, because otherwise you'll fat ass have to go get a job. But with you and Ryan friends. You're friends, man. You guys friends. We work it out. We worked all that out, man. It's cool. Now me and him, we're a team, man. We slander other people now, me and him together. That's what's up. I just want to know, like, you know, gotcha, sissy, coward. How do you guys like when there's no noise in the room, everything's real quiet, and you just fuck somebody over that was just a good person to you? Does it just bother you at all? Or is just thinking that you're friends with someone that has some money that somehow like shields you from that? I don't understand. I wrongfully shortchanged a lady one time, and it kept me awake about 3 fucking weeks. So I don't know. You tell me, how the hell do you live with yourself when you do that kind of shit? You do drugs and just numb it, pretend like it never happened. How do you deal with it? No, I'm serious. I want to know. I mean, I'm kind of envious sometimes that you can just look somebody in the eye and fuck them over and not feel anything. How do you do that? How do you feel good about trying to get a guy fired from his job? Not because he did anything to you, but because you'd get an attaboy from some fans of some SoundCloud rapper. I mean, what? Try to get somebody evicted from their apartment because they said something about a celebrity you like. I mean, you just got to be a fucking shit human being. None of you, and I challenge you today, can show me any evidence of Adam Calhoun doing anything other than being totally respectful to Ryan and giving him credit when he didn't even have to. You, none of you, not a single fucking one of you, not a single one of you can show me one thing that Johnny Goebel ever fucking did to you. Not a single one of you. Everything you do to him is to get an attaboy from the scum that associate with scum, that worship scum. Everything they did to me, simply because I spoke up about the truth and spoke up for people that were being bullied. And then when I finally do it back once, they literally try to put charges on me. And you're now friends with those people. You're running with them. You're good with those people. You just remember me telling you this. They'll do it with you. They'll do it to you. And these fuckers aren't going to change their colors anytime soon. And Ryan Upchurch ain't done slandering people from his YouTube channel. It's just a matter of time before you're a target. You run with people like that, that's it. It's going to happen. So hope you feel good about it. You know, but don't you dare pretend you're a better man than me. Don't you dare fucking pretend that this was some mutual thing where you and Ryan just sort of settled things. Nope, you just fucking decided to tolerate whatever he puts out and kiss his ass. That's all. I don't want to hear your bullshit. Just, you know, at least the gotcha man, it was all about money from YouTube with him. You have no fucking excuse. Cashville, you have no fucking excuse. I mean, at least Gotcha Man's got an excuse. He can't pay his bills, so he's got to do shitty stuff to make ends meet. How's that? Put that in your pipe and smoke it. It's the fucking truth. See, I don't have to exaggerate. I don't have to lie. I don't have to go back 25 years. I can just talk about what you did yesterday. Don't have to even slightly exaggerate it. Don't have to take nothing out of context. Don't have to put words in your mouth. All I got to do is repeat what you said and show what your actions are. Yeah. That's the thing, man. Ain't none of these guys hard. They live in the suburbs, for God's sakes. And even this, this is the other thing that blows my mind. Okay. How small-minded Crack Squad is, and how they've got this. Ryan's got an inflated idea of where he's at and who he is in the game. An extremely inflated one. Ryan thinks he's way more famous than he is. He thinks he's way more bigger than he is. He thinks mainstream Nashville's thinking about him all the time. And I promise you, they don't ever think of him. They see guys like him constantly. They make them an offer. If you turn it down, they move on to the next guy, and they probably don't even remember your name in 2 days. And for these guys to continually turn a blind eye that Ryan hasn't lost 3/4 of his YouTube followers. He's lost 3/4 of them. No, they didn't take the time to unsub, but they don't watch anymore. And that is the only connection he has to his fans. If Ryan Upchurch put out a new song tomorrow, nobody in Crack Squad would know unless he said something about it on his YouTube channel. So stop telling me he's all big in the game when his fucking videos aren't getting 30,000 views. It's nonsense. It's a sad reality is what it is, because he used to be able to post a blog and it'd get 350, 400,000 views in a couple hours. Yet you guys are still in denial, still in total denial. And he's playing in bars. He's not playing in arenas. He's playing in bars. He's playing on flatbed trailers at a mud park where they don't even have a fucking line array PA. Just some fucking speakers stacked up and an amp like a fucking DJ party. Unbelievable. And so if you look, Ryan's been in the game since 2015. Right? Tom McDonald didn't really even start uploading music to YouTube till 3 years ago. Wait till Tom McDonald's been in it 8 years. I bet you he'll have double. And it's not necessarily because Tom McDonald is better. What I've come to learn about rap music is it's really not like one's not way better than the other. It's a personal taste thing. Some people like this person, some people like that person, and it's like a personal thing. Because it kind of all sometimes start to sound the same. But at least Tom McDonald doesn't rush his tracks and use way too much can beat. The fucking drums are so muffled in Ryan's shit, man. It's bad, and that's the most important part. Those drums should be crisp and feel like someone threw them at you. instead of boo, 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 some fucking canned beat all muddied up. At least Tom McDonald's mixes sound very fucking professional. Ryan hasn't had a professional mix since fucking Dirty South, maybe, that is worth playing through a quality stereo system. Might sound good on a single speaker stock car stereo, but you put that in your audio grade system and it'll make you angry. It sounds so goddamn bad. Tom McDonald's videos get better every video. The next one is a little better. The next one, the composition in those videos that his girlfriend is making are on par with anything coming out of Hollywood. That girl has got an eye for the lens, incredible composition skills, top grade equipment, and knows how to use it. Ryan's videos have went backwards. They're not nearly as good as they were. They're very tame and fucking shot with a portrait lens instead of a fucking cinema lens. And like, there's no editing of the raw file, like brightening the colors and twinging the skin tones and, the things that professionals do. The thing that makes a difference between a professional looking video and one some dude shot, after work one night. So that is the reason why Tom is doing so well, is the quality, not necessarily that his lyrics are better or the song is better or anything like. It's the quality, the work put into it. And then secondly, there's no negativity coming from his channel. Ryan has popped off about Tom McDonald about 6 times in a pretty derogatory way, telling him he don't belong in the United States when he's a dual citizen. And Tom McDonald ain't said a word about Ryan to nobody. Tom McDonald's never said a word about Ryan. Why is that, Crack Squad? Why is that, Cashville? Why is it always Ryan slandering everyone? Why is that? Why did Ryan randomly slander you? That is why Tom McDonald will outdo Upchurch trifold. Just the positivity, the dedication to quality. His girlfriend puts the work in on those videos. Be Loose, don't even know how. He don't even know how. And he's got Ryan so buffaloed. Ryan thinks he's some camera expert, and he's not. He's like, I would argue I could shoot a better video than him, and I would call myself a fucking entry-level amateur. And I'll bet you I could take my Canon M50 and my Sony and shoot a music video that looked way better than anything he's doing. I'm certain that I could. Certain that I could. It's really lazy, lacking any effort at all. Typically one angle. He don't even put the work in to get multiple angles and no drone shots. No, I mean, Jesus, so behind the times. So behind the times. There ought to be Upchurch ripping down the road on his Harley on the back fucking tire in videos. There ought to be him doing fucking crazy shit that country boys do, not standing in front of a fucking Ferris wheel or in a warehouse where you put a portrait lens on so half you can see past the set and you can see the goddamn building so you can see that it's a set. Wow. You would never see a video like that appear on Tom McDonald's channel. I'm just saying that would never pass the smell test with her quality standards. You can say what you want, Crack Squad. That's just real, and that's why Ryan's peaked. You know, just is, man. And if you think, any of you, I don't care, any of you, if you think that a large portion of the OG Creek Squad wasn't just completely turned off by him tormenting a grieving family for 2 fucking years now, you guys are out of your mind. Just because it doesn't bother you, because you're just moralist pieces of shit, other people are just totally turned off by it. It's disgusting to watch. What if that was your kid, Cashville? What if your child died in an auto accident and Ryan Upchurch for 2 years was saying you faked having a child to steal money from GoFundMe? Do you ever try to put yourself in someone's shoes? Put yourself in Johnny Gobble's shoes. Have people calling stores where you go saying derogatory shit about you. Just so they can get a laugh from a handful of dirtbags. And what you don't understand, because your brain's too small, it's the encouragement. See, when you get a group of guys sitting around and one of them does some stupid thing to somebody, like call my phone at 2 a.m, that energizes the other people watching. So then they want to do something. So then they do something, and then that energizes someone else to do something, and then they want to do something. So then, so when you invite that stuff, you encourage that stuff, and it perpetuates. You think I deserved any of the shitty stuff they did to me, Cashville, for saying, hey, it's wrong what you're doing to Zanime. Hey, Kylie Rodney's real. Stop slandering her parents. Do you? Is that where your head's at? Is that who you are? That's all I'll say about that. Did you guys see, how many of you guys have been really, really, really up to date with what's been going on with this investigation with Trump's assassination attempt? There's some really crazy stuff going on that I had to take a long drive today, and I had a bunch of that stuff screen grabbed so I could spend the time to really listen to it. But I'm sure some of you know now that they did there's a investment group. This investment group, they manage $1.6 billion. That's their portfolio. Okay. 1.6 billion. And the day before the attempt on Trump's life, this investment group did a short sale of 12 million shares of Truth Social. and 35 or 350 or God damn it, no, it was 3.5 million shares of Rumble stock short sale day before the assassination attempt. The first short sale cost them $680 million. Okay. And the Rumble short sale cost them $160 million. If you add those two up, it's almost $8 million or $800 million. $800 million. Their entire portfolio is $1.6 billion. So what that means is they gambled, they betted over half of their clients' money on two pieces of stock that would both plummet if Trump were to cease to exist. Let's think about that. An investment firm that typically, when you're dealing with other people's money, you take baby steps. Okay. You don't put all your eggs in one basket. You know, you put, $20 million worth of stock in this company, $4 million in this company, $8 million over here. You spread it around. That way, if the bottom falls out, your clients don't get hammered. But they gambled and lost over half of their clients' money, and not a word's being whispered about it. Now, why would, and I know some of you are like confused, okay, on the Rumble part. Truth Social, as you know, is Trump's social media network. Rumble is the platform it runs on. So Truth Social is using Rumble's infrastructure. When Parler got deleted, because Parler was hosted on AWS, which is Amazon's server farms. Amazon offers, let's put it this way, 85% of the internet the World Wide Web, is being hosted on Amazon hardware and Amazon infrastructure. And Parler was one of them. So when they decided to, some of the original founders of Parler got together with the guy with Rumble, and they decided to build their own infrastructure and not use Amazon's infrastructure. So in order to afford their own infrastructure, they had to also rent that to other platforms. And I believe like True Social's on Rumble equipment. That one that Ian Crossland from Timcast, what's that one he's part of? Gab or something like that. There's several. I think there's a couple image hosting sites. I think that like Canva thing you make thumbnails with, like stuff like that. Those are all running on like Rumble equipment. So that's why they short sold both sets of stock. Now, what are the chances that some investment group would just be sitting around twiddling their thumbs? They got $1.6 billion portfolio worth the money they can invest that belongs to other people. And they just decide to, hey, let's do a hedge buy on 12 million pieces of Truth Social stock and lay it out at short sale. I mean, dude, come on. They fucking knew, and they banked on it happening. They banked on it being successful. Okay, then what else? So, body cam, one of the senators, and you have to excuse me, I forget his name. One of the senators, a Republican senator, today, yesterday, he managed to get enough support to force them to release the body cam footage from the attempt on Trump's life there, that fruit farm. And in that body cam footage, a group of officers are standing around the dispatched suspect. And they are standing around his body. And they're talking to each other. And the conversation they're having is, isn't that the guy they gave us a picture of yesterday? Yeah, that's him. Oh, you're kidding. That's the dude? That's the conversation they're having. They were given a picture of this kid ahead of time. What? It just keeps getting worse. The more you look, the more digging. And it's my opinion that the woman that was placed in charge of the CIA, I got to take my shirt off, guys. I'm burning up in here, man. And one of the boys has got a cold. I don't want to run the air all night, man. It's getting warm in here. So anyway, where was I? It's crazy the stuff we're learning, the more it gets talked about. And I can't believe that it's almost exactly like they did during the 2020 election. It's like the media is just trying their damnedest to ignore the cold hard facts that this was probably prearranged. And I look for them to try to start silencing people that just figure too much out. I bet you that's the next thing we see. I bet we start seeing a lot of conservative, independent journalists get demonetized, deplatformed, and so on. I almost bet that that's the next step. There were 3 ex-Green Beret guys that said that they went there that day to go to that speech, and that they walked in through the back, around the fence and barricade, and walked right up behind the bleachers, and they could have hit Trump with a spitball, and nobody said a word to them. Nobody said a word to them. They walked in and they got that close to the president, and no one said anything. And he said, we could have had a bomb. We could have been 3 Iranian, radicals, or, we could have been anybody. And they took pictures. They got evidence that they were right there, and they just walked into place. another guy, he was riding his motorcycle there with his girlfriend. And when they exited the freeway, I guess there's like a county road you got to take from the freeway to get down into where that fruit farm was. State Patrol said, you've got to park here and either walk or find a way, or, you know, a ride with somebody that's got a pass to get in there, because we're not letting any more vehicles in. So they had the road blocked. So he thought, man, I don't want to walk and I don't want to leave my bike as far away. So he snakes around through all these little cul-de-sacs and through the suburb and around this way and that way. And he come pulling down this little cul-de-sac that looked to him like it was about a quarter mile behind where this thing was at. And he saw this woman sitting on her porch, and he asked her, can I park my bike here? And she said, sure. So he parked his bike in her yard, and her husband came out and he told them how to go through the woods down a dirt trail, and they could get in that way and they wouldn't have to walk too far or take this stupid shuttle bus you had to wait on for an hour. So that's what they did. And him and his girlfriend walked through this little patch of woods, crossed this field, down this little dirt path, and they climbed the fence. They climbed the fence and walked right in. Nobody said a word to them. They walked up, and they were about 30 feet from where Trump was, and stood there and watched the whole thing. Nobody said a word to them. So I honestly think that that lady is just a stool pigeon. You know, she's taking the heat like it was all her fault. But what I think, you got to understand these people that do this plotting and planning in Washington. Here's the problem. You've got all these staffers there that have been there for 30 years. And you've got all these damn senators and congressmen and lobbyists that have been there for 40 years. And they're all marred down in the little social circles there in DC. And so when they play these political games, some of them, man, the game starts 2 years ahead of time. Like, for example, the whole Russian collusion hoax. What they did was they found a reporter in Ukraine that was a contributor for a major news network in Russia. And they paid him to write a bullshit story about Trump in a hotel with two prostitutes peeing on a bed that Obama slept on once, to start this whole Russian collusion hoax off. Because then they used that story, they used that fake news story that a third-party contributor was paid to write. It was totally made up. And they used that to then run a story in the United States citing the story that was in Russia that was actually made up. Now, the reason I bring this up is to say, you know, it's like this long game thing they're playing all the time, right? They have to build this bullshit, and it takes a while so they don't get caught, because what they're doing can send them to prison. So I think this lady, I think the attempt was planned probably a year and a half ago. And it's always been the backup plan if they couldn't put him in jail. And so that woman was hired because she's stupid. They could manipulate her. She didn't know a single thing about the job. She had no clue what the hell she was doing. So they could tell her just about anything. So just imagine, okay, you have no experience at all as a Secret Service person, right? You have no idea, you know nothing about it. Okay. Or let's say you get a job working at Jack's Steakhouse tomorrow. And you don't know the first damn thing about Jack's Steakhouse. You don't know where the steaks are in the refrigerator. You don't know how they cook them. You don't know where the forks are. You don't know where the pans are. You don't know who the cook is. You don't know who the boss is. You don't know nothing. They could tell you anything. And you wouldn't suspect them of lying. You would just take them at face value. And that's what they did to this woman. They hired her. And they probably told her, well, now listen, we usually don't give ex-presidents that much coverage. So you can pull about 6 agents off of him. And she probably went, oh, okay, that sounds good. And did that. They probably told her that, oh yeah, it'd be great if, you know, if we had some women on there that, you know, and we can now listen, these attempts on a president, it's not that serious. It's never going to happen. So you can put some inexperienced people on that detail. No one's going to care. Oh, okay, I'll do that. I mean, she was just a stool pigeon. They just used her. They used her ignorance and her inexperience and her DEI shit as just confusion and so that they could put this in motion. Now, how many have you heard about the cell phone? Now, to that person that just called my phone, okay, you don't know this, but you've been caught. You see, let's see, how can I explain this? Because crack squad's like kindergartners. So I have to explain it like I'm talking to like first graders. So let me find the words. Okay. A cell phone has to access a tower to get service. And I don't care if it's a burner phone. I don't care if it's in your name, your grandma's name, your cousin's name, your brother's name, your sister's name, your neighbor's name, a fake name. It don't matter. When that cell phone talks to that tower, it shares 2 pieces of information that cannot be manipulated by anyone. It shares what we call a MAC ID, which is the device ID, which is the ident that identifies the make, model, brand, region of that phone, of that device, of that network card, of that computer, of that laptop, of that cell phone, of that whatever. Once that device connects to a cell tower, it is issued a public IP address that is then binded to the MAC ID. It will strip the MAC as it goes through any level 3 router, but the IP address that is assigned to that device, which is the only way that that device can communicate on the internet, is to toss packets back and forth. And the only way it can toss packets back and forth is if it has a public IP address that it can receive packets that are being thrown at it. And on the other end can receive packets that it's thrown. It's how they know these packets belong to this device. These packets are from this device, is that public IP address that is issued as soon as that phone gets service. Those IP addresses are region based in much the same way you have an area code. They are region based. They are also purchased by providers. So let's say Verizon out of Miami, Florida, they buy 1.5 million IP addresses, or rather lease them from MCI Net. And so each customer's phone that hits the Verizon tower gets issued one of those leased public IP addresses. Those IP addresses are region based. We know they're out of Miami, Florida, regardless if it's a burner phone, if it's it doesn't matter. We know that they're region based. Well, we've had a change in technology recently. And with that change of technology, we're using what we call an IPv6. Okay, we used to use an IPv4. Now, for example, what is an IPv4? IPv4 is the normal 4 group number. So, for example, if you were to go to if you're on a computer right now, you can type into your search bar on the computer, not on your web browser, but down at the bottom on your Windows system. You type in that search right there, type CMD, and a little black box will pop up. It's called a command line. Okay. And you can type in there. God, it's been a while since I've done it on a Windows box. So you would just type, let me do it right now, just for the heck of it. I want you guys to understand this so you can understand what they have uncovered with this kid's cell phone. And my little prank caller you need to pay attention to. I don't want to see you go to jail. I really don't. That doesn't really do anything for me. Just fucking knock it off, dude. Your voice is so recognizable. And the shit you've said can put you in jail for over a year. That's all I'm saying, dude. It's not worth it. Ryan Upchurch ain't worth it. A pat on the back from a truck photograph ain't worth it. It's not worth it. Let me do this real quick. Okay, so all you got to do is down there in the search bar, type CMD, a little black box will pop up, and then type the word ipconfig so you can see what an IPv4 IP address looks like. It's going to show you your public IP and your internal network IP. And they are in what we call an IPv4 group. So, for example, a very common IP address on your home computer or your device, your phone, whatever, your tablet, is going to be, for example, like 10.0.0.0.1. That's usually the location of a office router. Okay. A home router is going to be 192.168.1.1. And then any computer living behind that router is going to be in that same IPv4 grouping of 192.168.1.2. And let's say you have a printer that's on the network, 192 or 168.192.1.11. You see what I mean? So that's an IPv4 group. We have switched over to an IPv6 format in the last 2 years because we were running out of the IPv4 range. Along with that switch came better management, better control over the cell networks. And what do I mean by that? Well, better ways to catch criminals, basically. So with your IPv6 hierarchy, it's not only region-based, but then it's tower-based. Okay, so it's going to be issued an IP address that starts out with a number associated with that region. The second grouping of numbers in the public IP address is going to be the location of what's called its home tower, where it first got assignment. Okay. And that tower issues numbers associated with north, south, east, west of the tower in 10-mile subgroups. So you're in Miami, Florida. You live south of downtown in a cul-de-sac. You buy a burner phone at Walmart because you want to prank call PBR all night long because you're immature. You know, you got nothing going in your life. You just sit around drinking too much and you ain't got a woman, can't get a woman, you got no job, you got nothing going. And so a big pat on the back from a rusty truck picture, or like some people in Crack Squad that might like you for a day. It all seems all worth it. Let's say you drive across town and call at 2:15 a.m. All we have to do today is look at the closest tower to me log and see what IPv6 address called my number at that time. And now we have the region down to the cul-de-sac where that fucking call came from. Now, knowing what you know now, I tried to tell you guys, just because, here's the mistake that Crack Squad makes. They think that if someone disagrees with Upchurch, they must not know anything. I don't know where you guys get that. In your lifetime, you will never meet anyone. I'm certain of this. You don't know another human being that is as versed and skilled with LAMP and INET services than I am. I was very passionate about it. My first computer was a Linux box. I was running multiplayer Doom games before there was a Windows. through 64 phone lines that I hacked through a digiboard. Just fucking telling you that. Don't care if you don't believe it. I don't care if you think it's brag. I'm just giving you that fact. I still have guys call me today that do that shit for a living. I still do. I've never bought a computer. Every computer I own is custom built. I was using computers in my sound setup in the very fucking early 90s. I was the only guy going around to clubs with monitors on my fucking sound console that I could put sound effects in and fucking echo and delay and then play kick-ass songs between sets. But I don't want to get too sidetracked here. So what we found out about this shooter is there were 2 burner phones that were at his house. Well, how do we know that? Well, just what I explained to you through that IPv6 region-based IP segment assignment. The first grouping is the region you're in. 5 states, they've done it by county, and they're working on getting almost all of the states to go with totally doing it by per county. But a lot of them argue that they want to do it by cell tower reach, like each circle. Like if you look at a map of cell towers, it puts out a green circle. And ideally, they want each circle touching each other. So like if you were to look at, say, the city of Columbus, there'd be a green circle around a cell tower right downtown. And then in the first suburb to the right, which is Whitehall, there'd be another green circle. And that green circle would touch the downtown tower. You follow me? And so each one of those circles is an IP seg region. Okay, so when that second group of numbers is leased to that phone, we know what one of them green circles it came from. Some are now doing it by county. How, I don't know. I would have to do some little research to understand how, but they are doing it. Okay, so there were 2 burner phones assigned to this kid's address. Like they did it by tracking the region of the phone. That what they did was they looked up his address. They put his address on a cell coverage map. And then they tracked every phone that ever went to his address. They can get these things down to about 7 feet with this IPv6 coding. Now, they can get these motherfuckers down to like 7 feet of where that phone was actually at. And I don't care whose name's on the phone. We don't need to know that anymore. The name don't matter. So they see there's these 2 burner phones that started showing up at his house a year ago. One of those burner phones went to an FBI office twice. You chew that any way you want. What are the fucking chances of that? I mean, that's beyond coincidence. Now, they're saying that, well, it wasn't exactly the FBI office. It was about a block away. Well, you leave the phone in the car and you walk around the block to the damn office. For fuck's sakes. There's no law that said you had to have the phone with you. I seriously think that was him. I seriously believe that he was told to leave all devices in his car, and he parked and he walked around the block and went and met with somebody from that FBI office 8 fucking months ago. Wrap your mind around that shit. And little Mr. Prank Caller, if you got any sense, you'll listen to what I just talked about. If you don't, then I guess I won't feel bad for you. This is the one out I'm giving you. There won't be another one. You mark my fucking word on that. Not kidding. You don't need it. You can't afford it. And it ain't worth it. So, it's looking like this is a JFK, man. Looking like this is a JFK 2.0. That's what it's looking like. I mean, they're right now, they're trying to verify that one of those 2 burner phones went to another office. And I ain't going to say much about that since it hadn't been verified yet. When it gets verified, we'll talk about it. Some heavy duty shit going down, guys. All right, I'll get to some of your comments. Now, I really appreciate you guys tuning in, man. Some of you guys been here. Harlow Blom, the Great Patriot. Oh, God, I can't even say that. Vinny Drebel. Well, how would you say that? Los Myers. No tiny pole. Some dude from not here said that. It's unreal. Well, no, it's not. It's not him. It's not him. If it was him, I probably would have already had him. Just go ahead and have him arrested. He's on probation. They'd take him away in a second. And I think it's for harassment that he's on probation for. And here he is harassing somebody else on the internet. Look how many times that dipshit made physical threats on video. I haven't seen his latest video. I didn't care to watch it. I did see some of what Adam had to say, and I don't blame him. It's like, this crack squad is so dumb. They think they're so important that they're all about it. Nothing's going to change about Adam Calhoun's career. Most of the people that are Creek Squad, that are like really Creek Squad, they totally understand where Adam's coming from, man. They're disgusted with all this fucking hate and trolling and doxing and slandering. They're turned off by it. They put up with it because they like Church's music, but they're not going to support it. They're not going to hate on Adam just because Ryan slandered him. The only people that do that are the same little clique that have harassed me and my family for 2 years, have harassed Johnny Gobble and his family for 2 years, have harassed Zana Mae and her family for 2 years, and have harassed everybody that Ryan has mentioned negatively on his YouTube channel. The same group of people has been involved and bothering him outside of YouTube in real life, because that is who they are. But there's only like 100 of them. They're nobody. The rest of what used to be Creek Squad, because Creek Squad's no more, would never engage in something like that. Not ever. They would never threaten somebody physically they've never even spoken to. They would never try to have someone swatted. They were like decent people. They believed Ryan's whole shtick about being a humble kid from the sticks, which just turned out to be just nonsense. He's just a bully, a city kid, and a bully. I grew up on a dirt road, and I don't know a single person I grew up with that would torment a grieving family. Yeah, that was it. Wood Booger. It was a DC office, that second burner. They know the person's name. But I ain't going to say it till I know it's been confirmed. But there's rumors of who it was, and you guys won't be shocked. You'll go like, yeah, I figured. It's pretty bad, man. And I hope, God, I hope. I know there. I think Trump's going to do probably one of two things. Okay. If I was him, it would be hard for me not to just run the justice system up half of his ass. Okay. But my gut is telling me that Trump is going to take the high road, and he's not going to weaponize the Justice Department in any way. And he's going to take the high road, and he's going to try to unite rather than cause more division. And he's willing to take the bullshit that's been thrown at him to do it. It's so funny to me how much like Democrats, this little segment of the bones of what used to be Creek Squad, it just blows my mind how much they act exactly like Democrats. They do exactly what Democrats do. Isn't it shocking? But I think it does, Chris. It sure looks that way. Man, it sure looks that way. And, you know, and if any of you had any doubts about JFK, well, this ought to quell your doubts, because they're certainly capable. We learned that much. They are certainly capable of doing it. So looks like this dipshit don't believe it. So, well, good for him. Let's go ahead and move forward with it then. I guess I'd have to watch that Make America Realistic again. What's he going to do? Slander somebody, accuse some innocent person, go on a podcast and go eeny, meeny, miny, mo. You're a suspect. You're responsible for what happened to this little girl. And nothing happened to her. She was in an auto accident. So unbelievable how many of the crack squad, just simpletons, blind loyalists and simpletons, were repeating that nonsense Ryan puked up about 80,000 people, kids missing from that town in Maui that had a bunch of flash fires in high wind. It blows my mind that they didn't have brains enough to think, well, now, wait a minute, 80,000 kids missing. Well, that would mean that the town would have to have a population of like 300,000 for there to be 80,000 kids missing. I mean, surely not every single kid is missing. So maybe even 500,000, half a million people in this little Hawaiian town. No, the population is 11,000. Where he's claimed more than flash fires happened. And he's claiming 80,000 kids were missing. There's not one kid missing. Now, if there were 80,000 kids missing, you simpletons, you would find at least one parent out of the 80,000 holding a flyer with a picture of their kid on it saying, my kid's missing. Go find one. There's 80,000 parents out there, according to your cult leader, that their kid is missing since a high wind thunderstorm and a flash fire. You know, the lack of common sense, you know, it's not knowing anything, you know. I guess that's the reason why conspiracies work, because it's, appreciate that, but there's a reason why these conspiracy theories stick with certain people. And it's because things you know nothing about are a mystery to you, how it works. So you're easily manipulated into thinking, you know, it's like the they, you know, who's the they? Who's the they that's, you know, they lied to you, they faked it, they, you know, who are the they? Okay, for one. But not understanding how wind and fire work together, why flash fires do what they do. If you've ever seen a blowtorch, I can go out right out there in my shop, okay, fire up my blowtorch, and I could literally burn holes through an object, and 3 inches away, it won't have a mark on it. I want you to understand that's, you know why they call it a blowtorch? Why do you think they call it a blowtorch? Because all a cutting torch is that cuts steel is acetylene gas and pressurized air. We turn the acetylene gas on, and then we pump pressurized air behind it. And it makes the flame go to 6,000 degrees Fahrenheit. And you say, well, why doesn't it melt the handle and melt the torch head? And, well, because the flame ain't touching it. The flame's setting out an inch from the head. The pressurized air has got the actual flame pushed an inch away from the tip. The acetylene's being pumped at it, and the air's being pumped at it, and together it's making a round string of fire that's 6,000 degrees Fahrenheit and burn a hole right through steel. And 3 inches away, there won't be a mark. That's what happens with embers in a windstorm. So, lightning strikes a tree. Bunch of embers get pushed through the air by the wind. One of them lands on the side of a car that's got a plastic bumper molding. Wind's blowing 70, 80, 100 miles an hour, and it starts just making that ember heat up, and start to melt that plastic. Next thing you know, the plastic's catching the paint of the car on fire. And now the wind is turning that into a blowtorch. And then next thing you know, the whole car is just burnt like you went over the whole thing with a blowtorch, and a foot away the grass is still green. It is a very, very common thing. There was nothing suspicious about those fires. There was nothing unusual about those fires. There was just nothing. Okay. It's just a common, everyday, normal thing that happens in high wind with embers. And we saw it. I don't know how many of you ever watched there was a show that was on before Live PD called Live Rescue. And there was a time when there was a wildfire that was coming through a mountain town in California. And we saw that very thing happen there. Those embers were flying out of the tree, landing on a house. The high wind, you could just watch that ember heat up, turn into a glow, and then poof, the whole roof would be on fire. And then the wind would just blow torch, just burn the outside of that house like within minutes. House next door, untouched. Lawn, bright green, untouched. It's normal. It's the same thing we saw on 9/11. Airplane flies into the building. Now, it turned those buildings into a big blast furnace, like even bigger than a blowtorch, because you had a chimney that could condense the wind and the air. Okay, so you knock a hole in the building 30 stories up, and the wind blowing across the top of that opening starts a vacuum process. The impact had blown all the windows out. So it was sucking in air underneath. And as that air started to move up that chimney and go from cold to hot, it increased in speed and volume. It condensed more and moved quicker. And it turned that building into a massive blast furnace, which melted those steel girders, turned them into soup. When the steel girders above it gave out, that added weight to the girders below it that they weren't designed to hold. And so the building fell in on itself. That process was then repeated on Tower 2 and repeated on the other building. It just was a chain of events. And yes, jet fuel can melt steel when it's in one of the tallest blast furnace chimneys known to mankind, a 100-story building. And if you have any kind of mechanical common sense, these things make sense to you. If you don't, you're like, oh, how could it melt steel? It don't make sense. Well, that's why. Same way Ryan didn't know Google Street View could be 10, 15 years old. So he's thinking he's looking at a guy with the same tennis shoes on and the picture's 10 years old. That was one of his clues, because he's better than everybody. He knows more than everybody with his 9th grade education on pot. So what little education he had, he was smoking pot the whole time. Well, listen, DJ. Okay. I want to explain something to you. They go find engineers that are willing to say that. You simpleton. Stop it, dude. You can't, just because some engineer says that's impossible, but there's 200 engineers that say it is. Which ones do you believe? Well, you know why I believe it? Because I can go right out there in my shop and get a blowtorch and simulate it for you. Are you telling me I can't melt steel with my blowtorch? Is that what you're telling me? I want to hear it. Are you telling me I can't melt steel with my blowtorch? Yes or no? Answer me. Can I melt steel with my blowtorch? Yes or no? Waiting. See, he won't answer that because he knows full fucking well I can go out there and cut through quarter plate steel with a little handheld blowtorch that I can hold in my hand. I can cut through 1/4 inch plate steel. I can probably cut through 1/2 inch with my normal tip. If I went and got a bigger tip, I don't have one of the big ones because I don't have a use for it. But if I put a full size, like a 1 inch tip on there, I could burn through 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch plate steel with a handheld device. Why is that? Why does a cutting torch cut? Do you know what makes a cutting torch cut? What makes a cutting torch cut there? Scientist said so. I'm a dipshit. See, he won't answer any of these questions. He can't. Because the minute he answers one, his conspiracy theory goes out the window. It just goes out the window. Why can I cut through 1/2 inch plate steel holding a small piece of brass with a little fire on the end of it? How is that possible? I'm waiting. You see, he can't answer it. You know, people use cutting torches every day, right? They cut through plate steel with it, right? Now, nothing went out the window. What? We're waiting. How does a blowtorch work? How can a blowtorch cut plate steel? Listen to how dumb he is. No, they weren't cut. They were melted. How do we melt steel? How is steel melted into soup and poured out of a cup? Cold rolled steel, the hardest steel in the world, is turned to soup, turned to red smoking soup, and then poured into molds to make things. How? How is it they got a chimney? That's all they got. You go in a steel factory, they got a chimney and a fire. And they're turning the hardest steel known to man into red soup. You know how? Tall chimney. What does a chimney do? Why do we have chimneys? What do chimneys do? When a wood stove is burning, hey, genius, hey, Einstein. Hey, Einstein, with a small mind. Einstein, I want you to pay attention. Why do we need a chimney that's taller than the pitch of the roof for a wood-burning stove to operate correctly? Why? Why can't we just have a 1 foot tall chimney and wood burner burn the same as it would with a 20-foot chimney? He'll never be able to answer that because he doesn't have the brain capacity. I don't talk about things that I'm not sure about. I don't talk about things I don't know anything about. That's the difference between me and you. I would never make a matter-of-fact statement on something I wasn't sure about. I'm 100% sure that a blast furnace melts the hardest steel in the world. And a blast furnace is a very simple device. It's a chimney with a fire. That's it. That's all it is. You got a big, tall chimney. You put a fire at the bottom. You tighten down the tunnel of the chimney. As soon as the chimney starts to warm up, the draft gets amazing. It can actually suck dirt off the floor. It's sucking so strong. And then you narrow down the input. So once you narrow it down a little bit, it increases in speed. Next thing you know, the hardest steel in the world is turned into soup. Now, how well do you think a blast furnace chimney would operate if it was as tall as 100-story building? Be one badass blast furnace, and it would turn them steel girders into soup, which is exactly what happened. It is absurd to think that the hundreds of thousands of air traffic controllers that watch those planes fly into those buildings your mind's too small. You need to not even think about these kind of things. Go ahead and boot him out of here. He's just being vulgar now. Just go ahead and kick him out of here. Come back when you can be even remotely respectful, dude. You don't know what you're talking about. Don't speak about things you don't know anything about, or you'll sound like a fool. No, if no windows were blown out of the building, okay, if that plane had hit the building and no windows were knocked out, the jet fuel would have probably flash burnt, and it would have only maybe burnt a couple of floors above it, and they'd have probably been able to get the fire out. But because it blew all the windows out, and we had this air source underneath the jet fuel fire, it turned into a massive blowtorch. I knew that building was going to fall within 20 minutes of that plane hitting it. I knew it, man. I saw that flame getting bigger, and I saw it having blue tips. And as soon as I saw blue tips coming off that flame, I thought, oh shit, that son of a bitch is blowtorching. And the flame got bluer and bluer and bluer, and then pretty soon the building fell. And then the second one started doing the exact same thing. When that first building fell, if you go back and watch the videos, again, first, you got to have common sense. 2, you got to have somewhat of a mechanical mind. 3, you got to know not to believe in wild conspiracies that are loose-ended. When the first building fell, it shot a rush of air up through that second building and out the hole in it, that it blew the shit that was in that building out about a mile from the building. Clear out into the bay, there was fucking papers falling in the fucking bay. Where do you think those came from? They came from the second tower. When that first tower fell, a big rush of air shot up through that building, probably up through the stairwells and up through the fucking ventilation systems. All the windows were knocked out, and man, it just blew everything that was inside that building out of the building. There were desks and chairs and paper and shit that went flying. It was such a sudden rush of air. And then it started having a blue flame, and I thought, oh shit, that fucker's blowtorching too. And wham, it fell. And then the third building started burning blue. And as soon as I saw that blue flame, I thought, oh shit, that one's going to go too. It's just, I mean, I can't believe that there's, grown ass men out there that don't understand we melt steel and pour it in molds. And, yeah, it's like Let me do something here just to make a fool out of him. Okay. So we're going to do right now, perfect. Right, here we go. Let me do this real quick. Go over here. Let's remove this thing. And now let me go to share screen. Go here. Let's share that. And all right. Let me get the right one here. That's not the one we want. Let's do the one beside it. Hold on. I got the wrong one. Here we go. This is the one we want. Share screen. Studio. Add it. Okay. Hey, Nimble Nuts. Hey, Nimble Nuts. Let's watch some guy melt steel in his garage. Guess what he's going to use? Wind. He's going to use wind. No way. Wind and fire melt steel? You're kidding. Oh, you got to be kidding. Fortunately, I'm not. What do you think that bellows is doing? Is he pumping air in there? Why is he pumping air in there, Einstein? Why would he be doing that? Here, now let's show this simpleton some melted steel from a blast furnace, so he can understand how jet fuel can burn steel with wind behind it. Sorry that the scientists that confirmed it, there weren't a bunch of scientists that confirmed that, dude. There was one idiot, the producer of Loose Change, got to say that. No other scientist with any credibility would have said jet fuel can't melt steel, because it certainly can if you put wind behind it. I can melt steel with a roll of toilet paper if I put wind behind it. You simpleton. Tell you something, you got to get up early in the morning. You think you're going to catch me talking about something I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about? I don't do that shit. Let's see. Let's find. I want to find. Let's find. Let me remove that. Let's find. Let's melt some actual steel. A scientist told me so. Here we go. Perfect. Here we go. Okay. I'm going to take you to kindergarten school. Hey, Einstein. Me going to take you kindergarten school. You ready? No scientists needed. Common sense, some fire, and some wind. And we're going to melt some steel for you. Mr. Jet Fuel can't melt steel. I knew I'd trigger one of these fools. Okay. Now, let's see. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, let's get educated. You guys ready? This is like for kindergartners.
Welcome back to X Machines channel. In recent years, the global demand for steel production has continuously increased. We can see steel being used everywhere in our lives, but few people have access to a steel mill and understand how the steelmaking process takes place. In this video, we will explore melting steel process and railroad tracks manufacturing.
Did he say they were going to melt steel and make railroad tracks? Einstein, come on over.
The material is produced from steel scrap as raw material. The scrap coming from the scrapyard is loaded in the bucket with a special excavator. They are then transported by truck into the workshop, where the main hoisting machinery lifts the bucket to the furnace for melting. An auxiliary hoist on the crane opens and closes the bucket during loading.
Where's that scientist at? Said you can't melt steel.
The melt shop melts the scrap charge to liquid steel at the required temperature and chemical analysis. It uses large amounts of electric power. The melting equipment consists of a twin-shell DC electric arc furnace, powered by a shared set of electrical equipment operating at up to 850 volts and 135,000 amps. Oxy fuel burners placed at strategic locations around the furnace supply additional energy. A lance system is used to inject oxygen to decarbonize the steel. The lance can also inject anthracite carbon to produce a foamy slag. When the furnace is ready for scrap charging, an overhead crane brings a clamshell bucket over the furnace top and opens the bottom, charging the scrap into the furnace. The process of melting a charge of scrap is called a heat. The melt shop computer system identifies each production batch with a unique heat number. To begin melting, the single 30 inches diameter graphite electrode is lowered into the furnace, and an electric arc is struck between the top and bottom electrodes.
Dun, 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 dun,
The
dun.
arc is like a captive lightning bolt, and radiates energy to the scrap charge from its 4,000 degrees Fahrenheit core, quickly boring its way down through the packed scrap. During the heat, the arc voltage is adjusted several times by the programmable controller, or PLC, which controls the furnace. A foamy slag is created, which protects the water-cooled panels that make up the walls of the furnace and aids in heat transfer to the scrap. Oxygen is blown in to remove carbon and other oxidizable elements from the steel bath.
Now, they infuse oxygen. Now, that's an electric one. So let's find an open flame one. You guys probably don't even care. But, yeah. Well, I ain't going full with it. Yeah. Take a chimney. Okay. You build a fire. The chimney sucks air across the fire. The taller the chimney, the harder to suck. The taller the chimney, the more wind it make. The more wind it make, the hotter the fire get. Now, you come back when your scientists can debunk that. And then I'll just sit there and melt and steel with my blowtorch out in the garage, which just consists of some acetylene gas. I could use jet fuel. I could put jet fuel in there, not even use acetylene gas. I could just go get some jet fuel or some diesel fuel. Diesel fuel actually is a pretty good cutting source. Well, I could use diesel fuel and pressurized oxygen and do the same thing. Burn right through any metal you want. Oh, that Felt good. Excuse me. Oh, yeah, dude. If you go back and watch some of them videos, there's one of them videos, dude, where his pupils are fucking maxed out. They are as big as his entire retina, and they're pulsing. He's sitting there talking, and they're fucking pulsing. Like they're maxed out and they're full throttle, and they're banging against the limiter. It's unreal, man. I mean, I'm telling you, watch it. It'll like startle you a little bit. He was really zooming. I hear you. Vintage Rebel. Yeah, I'll do a video with my blowtorch. Science has proved it. No. 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 No, no. One dipshit claiming to be a scientist said it for a movie. That's it. You can't provide me any actual scientist saying jet fuel can't melt steel, because it sure as hell can if you put some air behind it. Diesel fuel could melt steel. Gasoline could melt steel. Toilet paper could melt steel. Wood could melt steel. Old pair of shoes could melt steel. Some floor tile could melt steel. All it needs is wind. And you blow that wind across there strong enough to turn that flame tip blue, and that sumbitch is going to go to about 5,000 or 6,000 degrees, and it'll burn through any metal you lay in front of it. Just the way it is, dude. Don't blame me. I didn't invent it. I'm just telling you how it works, because I've done it myself. There you go. With these sheet metal factory, that's cool. You ever see, I went on that, what was it? There's about 3 different, guys ever watch the Whatever podcast? Okay. And, yeah, there you go. Apartment fire. Cool. Okay, on that Whatever podcast, whenever he gets a super chat, there's this really cool sounding voice that reads the chat. It's like an AI voice, and it reads the chat really cool. Okay. And I'm thinking, well, that's probably one of these AI voice to text apps out there on the net somewhere they're using. I don't know if you've ever heard it, but it's really cool. And I was wanting to do a little skit, and I was looking for that daggone voice. And I went to all these AI text to voice. And they give you a bunch of options. Like, they'll give you like 15 voices to choose from, and all of them are lame. Well, then I'm like, how are they getting that thing to read to be more human-like, where it's reading the text, but it's pausing in the right places like a human would to take a breath, or, to attenuate a point. It's like all this AI goes, Sally chased the ball down the hallway. Right? Instead of it, doing it like a human, Sally chased the ball down the hallway. It's got no personality. It's just a voice turns that text to voice one word at a time, very robotically. There's no flow to it. And I tried probably 6 of these different sites that claim, AI voice to text. So if anybody knows one that works, man, I'd sure like to know, because I was going to do a cool skit with it and I just couldn't find the voice that would work. Chat GPT. Narrator Suno. Cool. All right, I'll look for that. I think it's really cool, and I wanted to, like I said, I was going to make a little skit with it. It was going to be Ryan's conscience in this video I was making. I was going to do a parody of him being interviewed by NBC and saying, "There's no evidence Donald Trump is real. You can't show me proof that building even existed." I looked on Google Street View and I couldn't even find Butler, PA. Why would they do all that? GoFundMe money. But Mr. Upchurch, they found bodies there. They removed bodies. There were 2 people deceased, rented from the morgue, both of them. You guys remember that parody I made? Go read the comments on that son of a bitch. If you think Crack Squad ain't a bunch of simpletons, you go read the comments on that parody. They still think that I was being serious and reference that as, "Oh yeah, you did. You said this and you said that." And it was all that parody video. Yeah, I know. They do look bad, dude. Move up here. Okay, I guess I got to watch it. You kidding me? In this new video, he's doing that? The Defiant one says, "I can't wait to hear PBR has to say about Ryan's new video, where he's talking about the Rodney lawsuit and not understanding why he's being sued and using Google Maps, not understanding how the dates work." What? Oh, come on. Still? Let me tell you something. If I went online and made a goddamn fool of myself using Google Maps, you'd bet your ass I'd know how it worked the next time I opened my mouth. Or I wouldn't do it. Hey, Ryan, I can tell you how the dates work. They drive a car, Ryan, a regular car, like I have, like you have. Okay. They drive a car with a camera on the roof down every street. I know. Sounds crazy, but that's what they did. Took them, what did I read? The first version of Google Earth that was released to the public, it took them 4 years, and they had 200 cars. And it took them 4 years to map the primary. They didn't do small rural towns, but they did, medium size and up. I believe they said it took 4 years. Okay. I think they have since scaled those street view cars back quite a bit since the original mapping. And now they just do updates if there have been new addresses. So here's an example. Okay. And if Ryan ain't listening, one of you dipshits that talks to him, you can explain it to him. Example. a satellite flies over the United States, and each time it orbits, it moves over about, what did they say, like 13 miles, 14 miles. So satellite makes a loop around the country, taking high definition photos, and it goes all the way around the globe, and it comes back around again, all the way around the globe and back around again. Each lap around the planet, it's moving over. Okay. And each pass, it's taking a high def photo with a high definition lens. Okay. And there's a computer using the satellite global positioning system to stitch those photos together so that they become one large high definition photo of the entire United States. But the pictures that were taken over California, for example, may have been taken a year before the pictures that were taken over Oklahoma, and the pictures over Washington, D.C. may have taken another 2 years. So between California, West Coast, and East Coast, there's a 4-year lag between the pictures. They're all stitched together, but one is way older than the other. So there's that. Now, Google has since added multiple satellites. So their air view, their sky view photos are more updated. They're updated a lot quicker than they used to be. They used to be about a year average. If there were a new highway put in, of course, they would focus on that area and get it updated. If a subdivision was built, of course, they would send the Google streetcar to go roam that suburb that just got built, right? Now, so there's that going on. Now, completely separate from that, not associated with the satellite photos at all. You got cars driving up and down every street with a camera that's spinning 360 degrees on the roof. And they use the same global positioning system to stitch those photos together and create a huge high definition photo on all the streets in America. Now, it take 4, 5, 6 years for them to hit every street. So in those early days, there was no need to go back down the same street unless there's a new address. So let's say you live on, Frank Road, and Frank Road's a dead end dirt road that's got 6 houses on it. If no new houses are ever built on that road, they'll probably never send that car back down that road for a long, long time. So the road out front, it may have brand new photos that were just taken this year. But the photos of that dead end dirt road can still be 8, 9 years old. There was no need to waste the gas and the time to go down a road where it's the same as it was. There's no new addresses. That's why, Ryan. That's why the dates are all different everywhere. Even here where I live, okay, my street, the first time it got updated was 8 years. Between the first time they came down it and the second time they came down, it was 8 years. But the highway out there, they went down it every year. So it's just willy-nilly and random. But that's why. That's why the dates are always different. And that's why you need to look down at the bottom of the page. And when you look at the bottom of the page, it'll say copyright Google 2024 image 2019 or 2017 or 2024 or 2023. I still find, goofing around on Google Maps, I still find street images from 2010 in like rural areas. So there's that. I guess I got to watch his video. It must be a banger. And how can he not understand why he's being sued? How can he not understand? What makes him think that he can turn on his camera, say someone's real name, say someone's real address, and then tell 3 million people that they're trafficking children? Not, I think they are, not allegedly, but I'm smarter than all these true crime podcast shows. And guess what I found out? They're trafficking kids. Guess what I found out? Not alleged, not I think, not it's my opinion, but they're scamming GoFundMe. Kylie Ross's grandpa, or Kylie Rodney's grandpa, is the same person as Kylie Ross's dad. No, allegedly, no, I think, but very matter-of-factly. That's why he's being sued. He damaged their reputation. And because of the words that came out of his mouth, dozens of other dipshits have made videos repeating his made-up, fabricated fairy tale about these very fine people that lost a child in a tragic accident. And they're still making videos today repeating the nonsense that came out of his mouth. And he never walked it back. He never said, I'm sorry. He never said, I shouldn't have said that. He never told his listeners, hey, don't pay no attention to me. I'm just talking out my ass. He told his listeners he's smarter than everybody. And by God, this is a fact. And they're dumb enough to believe him. They just, whatever he does, they just look at how stupid they looked when Ryan decides to just go after Adam Calhoun out of the blue, says he made diss tracks that don't exist. And look how quick Crack Squad all just jumped on the bandwagon and started hammering on Adam. All of them, just like robots, like fucking just mindless drones that can't even think for themselves. They did the same thing when he slandered Cashville. Crack Squad jumped right up Cashville's ass, was all over him. He was calling me all bummed out every fucking day. And then to watch him just turn around and do the same thing to Adam. Jesus. So, yeah, that's why he's being sued if he wonders. Yeah, I guess I got to go watch that video. Hey, I really appreciate you guys tuning in with me. I got to get the hell off of here. In case some of you didn't catch it, the bullshit charges have been thrown away. Gone, famous, over. There is no court hearing. There is nothing. There's no fine. Nothing. And if you hear anything besides that, you're being lied to. Y'all have a good one. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I really do.